I definitely talk more. Andrew, look here real quick. Perfect.
Yo.
How I look?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I gotta sit up.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Can you give us a clap? Can someone give us a slate?
How about I got another slate for you real quick here. Let's cheers.
Okay.
Open this up.
Ready?
Okay, so-
1, 2.
A little ASMR action.
Yeah, sorry, all over
Oh,
Party
shit.
foul. Welcome to the podcast studio. 3K
Oh, I'm wet now.
PK. This is how we're starting it. Yeah, I know. This time, that's Andrew over here.
Yeah. This is Danny.
And welcome back to another episode. We've been very busy since our last podcast scheduling.
This is
Conflicts. We keep rescheduling the day before or day of. So sorry about the delay. We are going to get better on that. But
I know so many people hit me up, which is amazing, and I really appreciate you guys even caring about this podcast in any way whatsoever, because you guys hit me up asking, hey, when is the next one? And I'm like, hey, I've been busy, life, but it's coming.
yeah, we've been
So,
extremely busy, but we've cleared out our editing schedules to be here today because we need to get this done.
Right.
So appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoy this episode. We're going to be talking about probably my favorite or my specialty, event photography in general.
yeah.
That's going to be
You know
the
what's so
theme.
funny about this episode? I've been like avoiding event photography like the plague.
Yeah.
Like people hit me and I'll be like, hey, my boy does this though, and he's really good at it. And then I usually just send them over to Danny.
Yeah,
But
and then I pick and choose. I'm like, we'll see. But yeah, that's a good thing. But it's also my birthday week.
oh yeah,
That just
shit.
passed
Happy
2 days
birthday.
ago,
I
so
totally forgot.
I gotta show that out because everyone says I don't say it's my birthday. So here we are.
Yeah,
Gotta throw that
cheers
little
to that,
tidbit in
yo.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cheers, cheers,
Cheers to that.
cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 weeks before your birthday, it was my birthday.
Yes,
Gemini gang.
Gemini gang. Yes.
Yeah.
You're what, the 30th?
28th.
28th. Okay.
Yeah.
Gemini gang. My
Yeah.
mom and my dad are Gemini, so my mom's
Oh,
birthday is
shit.
actually this Sunday.
Oh.
And what are you? For the
I'm a
people at home?
Capricorn.
Just gotta let
Yeah,
them
yeah.
know.
Me
Big
and
Cap.
my sister are Capricorns, and we have Gemini parents. So
That sounds like an
yeah,
astrology
interesting.
war.
Right? I don't know
Yeah,
what it means,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a thing. It happened. It just means my parents decide to do the deed around the same time a year.
And their parents did
guess.
the deed around the same time.
Right? Yeah, I guess that's what that means.
That's really what
it's a tradition.
Well, this is a side tangent that we're going off now, but my cousins, we all have the same, like we're all like a week apart. So we're like, what the fuck were our parents
Whoa.
doing that? Where were they all at?
Word.
Mom, where were y'all? Huh? I need to know.
Uh,
I was lit.
ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Back to
this
photography.
week. So like, tell us what's going on this week. We'll just do this week because that gap between episodes.
Yeah, our gap was too long.
It was
Eventually
way too
we'll
long.
get it. But this week was pretty eventful for me. You know, I'll start from last Friday, which is about a week from now, kind of.
Mhm.
I did 2 events for Remy Ma for her Chrome 23 battle rap. You know, that was pretty cool. There's some technical difficulties, but it's still overall all right. You know, trying to live stream at different venues,
Yeah.
that can get a little tricky, but the battle raps was dope. The energy was pretty cool. But me in work mode, I was a little like, you don't want to be around Remy when she's tight. So, you know,
Yeah,
but it was cool. Luckily, it wasn't my fault, and that's like my sister, so I was chilling. And then on Sunday was SummerJam, which was super lit.
Yeah, Summer Jam was cool.
Andrew went to his first.
I went to my first Summer Jam.
So Sunday I did SummerJam. That was pretty cool. I got to shoot for Hot 97 directly, so
Mhm.
you know, got the little all access pass thanks to my people Lou and Stan.
And it was my first Summer Jam, thanks to Danny.
Yeah,
I don't know how I have never gone to Summer
May
Jam. I am a
Yeah.
First Summer
Yeah.
Jam ever?
yes, I am a New Yorker. I've just I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. I don't have a vest. I don't have a I don't want to be there.
First Summer
But
Jam, how was it?
that was my preconceived notions. Let me say that up
That
front.
was too
I do
ratchet.
have a lot of friends that do work at Hot 97. Love them. But I've always thought Summer Jam was a little bit too ratchet for me in my, I like I do like festivals. It wasn't even a Ratchet thing. It was the setup. So like when I like to go to festivals, I like multi-stage festivals. I like full
Mm,
day events, like that kind of deal. And it always just felt weird that it's in this stadium and there's nothing
you
really
can't
else to
walk
do.
around.
Like like you
Yeah.
just look at the one stage and then that's it. So
Yeah.
it never really appealed to me as a consumer, but I've always been like, oh, I'm gonna go when I get like passes or like like being that guy to be like,
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
go when I get some free shit or I can go backstage or something. Like
Yeah, we
so.
tried to make that happen,
Yeah,
but that was a little difficult with the
it,
security.
yeah.
But we got Andrew as
It was
close as I
close.
could,
Yeah,
Yeah, got him like
I
front
yeah,
first
like
few
first few
rows.
rows. I was excited. I had fun.
What's your review of Summer Jam? Give us your thoughts.
Well, he
I,
missed one of the key moments because he came
yeah,
he came late, so one of the key moments actually happened early.
yeah.
What was the key moment?
Yeah. What was the key moment?
Cardi B
Oh
coming out,
yes, yes.
surprising on the festival stage.
Hmm.
Shout out to Drewski making that happen. He brought a lot of friends from all different parts of the different boroughs and
Hmm.
Jersey and all that. So
And the festival stage is the free stage in the parking
it's
lot.
not free,
It's not a
but
free
yeah,
stage.
it's just outside. It's usually up and coming talent. It's like a few years ago before Travis became big, he was like the headliner on the festival stage. So
Oh
it's
wow.
like some of the big people, they're kind of in the cusp. Like Corday was the headliner, but Corday's I think
Yeah, he's
he's
pretty
still
big.
big
Yeah.
enough, but they had him on the festival stage. But so that's a real surprise. Most people just like will tailgate and stuff in the
Yeah,
parking lot.
yeah,
This year, you've seen so many shops and set up like people
yeah.
selling weed. People had hookah
I
little
was,
lounges and
yo,
shit.
I
It was
was,
crazy.
yeah, I was really surprised. That really took me by
Yeah.
surprise. I was like, yo, this is like a
It's a whole
whole,
event outside of Summer Jam that's just not
yo,
even vendors. It's just
yeah, it
people
was
set
cool
up
though.
shop. They have vans. So me as a photographer, I guess we'll get kind of into it as a event photography and
Yeah,
all this and that.
let's start let's hit them with the topic for this week. Obviously, it's event
Boom, boom,
photography
boom, boom, boom.
topic, and then you can continue. So
Yeah.
we're talking about event photography.
Yeah, and I guess since it's all fresh, I wanted to say like Summer Jam. Most people just want to shoot the artist or whatever, shoot from the pit. I was like, I need to kind of tell the story. I don't need to, but I was like, let me go at the beginning. We kind of broke out from our like staff meetings and
Hmm.
stuff at like 2 or so, and festival stage doesn't start till like 3:30. That's when they start their first performance. So I was like, this whole time I got nothing to do. Let me go into that area and just capture people setting up or hanging out and
Dope.
stuff. So that's why I was able to see some of the stands and stuff. So that was cool.
I
And
thought that was cool. I thought the hustle and just the thought to do that. I didn't even think about that. I was like, when I pulled up, I was like, oh yeah, Jamaican
mhm.
food, right? This is what I want.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It
know, it
was
was
hella
just like, yeah,
girls. I got some
it
pictures of
was
these
like,
two girls because you're trying to tell a story. You got to find some beautiful girls to showcase. You don't want to see a whole bunch of dudes in the parking
that's true.
lot. And the one picture I found was like these two girls. They had a henny bottle. They just started twerking out of nowhere. I'm like, it's 2:30, and they super lit. I'm like,
Yeah.
so they were cool. And then I told them like, yo, you want to get to this? They're all usually just hang out the whole time and they
Mhm.
wait for the festival unless there's like artists they want. Like you didn't want to get in there this time because I knew about Cardi and all that. So
Yeah, yeah. That was
yeah.
that was me being lazy. I was like still on the fence about my first summer jam. I was
Well, the
I
weather
was
didn't help.
yeah, the
Yeah.
weather and then just being lazy and
The
then
weather
so
never helps on Summer Jam.
But this
bro.
year it
it's
was
like
good.
Now,
God
I'm not
was
gonna,
like
I woke up and I was like, oh, it's got to be Summer Jam.
Yeah.
It's boring out here.
You hear thunderstorms and shit. You're like, yeah, that's Summer Jam Sunday. Yeah.
But it didn't rain during the show.
No,
right?
it rained only a bit at the beginning. It was only like what's it called? Just like spring. It wasn't nothing crazy.
Yeah.
You didn't need an umbrella or anything. So I
but
was
I
happy
but I
about
did
that.
I did come late and leave early.
Yeah.
Uh it was
He
but
was like, I'm trying to beat that traffic.
yeah, I didn't want to get the traffic on the way out, so I left a little early. But what I saw was great. I am mad I missed my girl Dream Doll, but other than that, everyone I did see was yeah, it was great. It was good.
Yeah, Dream
Yeah,
Doll was pretty cool.
see, and she had
Yeah,
dancers.
yeah,
I
she
heard,
did a
and
whole
she like did a
performance. I was
whole
like,
thing.
I can't wait to see her like when she gets a little more time because she did a lot in her time. I don't even know how long it was,
Yeah,
but because she was the first on the main stage, so I didn't even know she went on at first. So I was like, shit, let me hurry up and get to the spot. Got some pictures of the pit. But then also I go to the stage, get some pictures from like her
Mhm.
point of view, and then I got so it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but luckily there's a lot of staff photographers, so like we just all gotta know you're not gonna capture every moment.
Everything
You
right.
know, yeah, you gotta just trust everyone else. Hopefully, we can all tell the proper story of something as big as Summer Jam or any other festival.
Right.
Yeah,
So all right. So let's
yeah, let's reel it back a
reel
little.
it back.
Yeah.
I guess we should start with, I guess, the basics
The
of.
grand question:
Huh?
what is event photography?
I mean, it's photography done at an event.
Yeah.
Okay, so but what is the events that could be
Yeah.
considered event photography?
Yeah. What do you
I think
consider?
I think one thing I would not consider event is wedding photography. I feel like wedding photography is its own thing in itself and can't be called. I mean, I know it is an event, but that's its own thing,
Yeah.
right? So, outside of that, concerts, performances, parties.
Quinceañeras, how about those? Those count?
What you say?
Um,
Quinceañeras, little sweet 16s, those kind of
Yeah,
events?
yeah,
Or
those are
those
events
those
because
are definitely
they're
events,
major, but they're not like wedding type.
right?
Yeah, like
And
bar mitzvahs, bar mitzvahs. Those I think to me are like events. You're
right,
covering it like
and
that.
I think I would like X out just like a party photographer. Does that make sense?
no, what does that mean?
I mean,
Like
like a nightclub type
like a
party or
nightclub
like
kind of
a.
thing. I wouldn't really consider that event photography. I
It
mean,
can be,
it
you know,
can be,
because it kind of translates. But yeah, it is. I
but
guess that's not your 7 days, 7 night. Like I'm
right,
not gonna hire. Obviously, if that's all they're doing, I'm sure they could do other events. But I think events is more outside of just taking photos too. It's like
right.
the delivery, just like everything with photography,
There's the
customer
delivery,
service.
there's the
Yeah,
customer service, there's the etiquette while at the event, which I think a lot of
don't be getting
photographers
fucked up.
are are missing, and you'll end up getting kicked out or getting fucked up by somebody. Like you never know. So there's those things I think also that adds into the event. But I know that when I think about it, really, I think about it more so as concerts, performances, and then
More
red
formal,
carpet
yeah, more formal like
situation.
galas
Yeah,
and things like
galas.
that. Yeah,
But maybe that's just what I would rather shoot. If I had to do events, that's what I would shoot. But yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
he touched on pretty much everything.
Right?
Do you remember your first actual event photography? Because you mainly did other things before. So
Yeah. I hmm. Let's see if I can remember the first time. I feel like we kind of spoke about this in our previous, but I think that was my first fashion show. I was
mm,
trying to recall. I think my first event had to be something having to do with it had to be something having to do with an artist, but I just can't really remember. This was the heyday of New York when there was an event every day
mm.
with free alcohol and for somebody's album or
So were you
song
one of
or
those people getting almost kicked out?
um not at the. I feel like I always had like a good because I never wanted to like bother anyone.
Mm,
So I feel like I never was too pushy and never like that, which also translated, I think, into not getting the great shot because I wasn't that pushy.
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah,
I would be like, oh, if you can I take this photo? Like I'm very timid. I think everyone's like that first time, like with
yeah.
any type of star or something that's around. You just don't know how to approach it, maybe. Or maybe that's
Hmm.
just me. I don't know. I just didn't know how to approach it a little bit.
Nah,
But
I I feel you on that
yeah,
because you don't know who's out doing what with whom, or who's like, I don't want to be on camera.
right,
It's just so many different variables, especially in like an event,
right,
an event
Yeah.
space. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it is a little, and especially if you don't know anybody there. If you're a hired gun,
right.
then it's a little bit. It could be a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought so.
that's what I go through still even now. Because even at SummerJam, I see certain artists. I was like, yo, one, I want to get like eye contact. I don't like. I want candids, but I still want you looking kind of. So like, I asked, I think Jim Jones was walking. I was like, yo, you mind if I take a picture? He's like, shoot ahead, whatever. And then, but I'm like, yo, I need you to look at me, like that. So like, it's different because usually they're like, yo, you're paparazzi, just like photograph
Yes.
what's in the moment. You're telling that story. But I'm like, I need a little different. I want like the pose picture, you
Right,
looking at
right.
me because I know that's what's really gonna
I
go.
think you just brought up a good point though. Like, what's the difference between candid photography and event photography? Because I think those two are
Candid
hella,
photography.
yeah,
Like more like paparazzi. Is
yeah,
what you're saying?
or more so, yeah, kind of like I'm not really looking,
Well,
Yeah.
it just depends on your goal because like if you're at a party, you kind of want to capture the moments. Like that's
Yeah.
what most wedding photographers like. Obviously, you get in like you're getting all the poses and traditional stuff, but when it comes to like the party, you just want to capture people in
You
their
know what?
element, this and that, or even the events. You want to tell that, so you want candid stuff. But then also you do need like some more pose things, or like people looking
All
at your
right.
direction because you don't want a picture of four people. They're all looking different areas, and then you're like, this just don't make no sense.
Right.
yeah.
Like my Cardi picture that was good. Only reason I think it was good is because they're all looking at me.
Yeah.
And I made sure I was like, there was a whole bunch of photographers, and I'm like, yo, this one's for hot. I didn't do that out there. So, and then Nessa kind of remembered me. So it was just like, oh yeah, everyone look this direction compared to like Cardi's looking one way,
Right,
Drewski's looking
exactly.
one way, Joe's looking somewhere. And that picture won't translate as well. It's still a decent moment, but it's different when it's like that eye contact.
I think it's what you're after because there's some guys that I follow. I can't recall names, of course, right now, but that do like really great like party candids where it's like these like damn I wish I was there kind of shots where it's like
Mhm.
damn how did you get that like,
Yeah.
and that's an art in itself I feel like. And then I think it's another situation where because that person is more so a fly on the wall kind of like
Mhm.
you're trying to make sure people don't see the camera because people act different when they see the camera.
Yes, they
So
do.
so I feel like that's an art in itself. So you're a fly on the wall just like snapping and go like
Private
getting like
investigator.
like getting like
Yeah,
the
pretty
quick
much.
shots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's different than where you're like, no, I need to get you for the cover of whatever
Mhm.
or for what are those sites that like Johnny shoots for,
Oh, like Getty and all that.
like
Yeah,
Getty
Getty
and
and
like
Line.
all that stuff,
Yeah.
that you need these actual pose shots.
Mhm.
So
But then also you need to realize the moment because I was gonna say like Kiss, he stopped me and Ish calligraphist. We asked for photos. They took the photos, and he was like, "Hey, let me ask y'all a question because I respect y'all." And he was like, "Yo, you see us back here? We're getting ready for to perform, do some shit like the Beatles. We're about to kill it out there, do some legendary shit." He's like, "Yo, but." Every few minutes, we're getting asked by photographers to take these pictures. Like, imagine if the tables were turned, how would you feel? And just had us thinking about that. So you gotta. But they also were saying like in that moment we should have just got candids.
yeah,
But like I said, I had a certain mission that I was like, "Hey, you mind if I take a picture?" And they did it. But then
yeah,
he was like, "Yo, just switch the tables real quick, and how would
Hit you
you
with
feel?"
that.
Yeah,
Hit you with
yeah.
that old man knowledge.
Nah,
Right
yeah, they
there.
definitely did. He was like, "Yo, I respect y'all. That's why I'm doing this, and that's why
Yeah.
I stopped to tell you to." Like so, like I took it in and everything. I was like, "Yeah, you're definitely right." Like
Well,
it's
how many
Yep.
photographers does Hot have on
well, it's
staff?
not even
That
just hot. It's more
it's
just
just
it just backstage. I don't even know how people get back there sometimes. Like, and they go a little too hard. Like,
yeah,
I only went back there because someone asked me to come back there with Dipset, and then next thing you know, I'm seeing like Remy and all these people, and then I didn't even know the Locks was there because they weren't even
yeah.
on
They
the
were
shot
surprised.
list.
Yeah,
yeah.
And someone's like, "Oh, they're over there. You should go get a picture real quick." So I'm like, "All right." And so I guess I'm towards the end of the night where they've probably been getting pictures since they walked through the door, and I was like, "Hey, you mind if I take a quick picture?" And then yeah,
yeah. I mean,
but it is what it is. It's just all timing and
it's
all
all
that. It
timing.
wasn't bad. He was just like, "Yo, just let you know, like we trying to get our mind right. They trying to
Mhm.
smoke, get
Hmm.
chill, whatever, before they got to be up in front of thousands of people." So like, I respect it. I truly believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
picking and choosing.
I think it's picking and choosing. It's people. It's remembering like they're people.
Mhm.
Like at the end of the day, because and
Yeah.
then they all have different personalities.
Hmm.
Shit could have happened earlier. another photographer could have messed
Yeah,
something
that's
up
why
for
that's
you.
what I think what happened.
Like,
I'm like, because some of the people
yeah,
back there was going a little too hard.
yeah,
Like we were trying to set up a shot, and the guy's like cutting under me, and I'm like, bro, we're not even taking pictures yet. Like, chill. And I was like, and then this is what this said. So Chanel's there, and she's just like, yo, we're gonna do this right, guys. Don't worry. We're gonna go in order. But like this guy like was like he pushed to get in there. And I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
you got it. I was like, I'll shoot last. Like I don't care. I know she's gonna make
Yeah.
sure.
And that goes back to the etiquette.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
etiquette. There's yeah. It's just I think some of the newer guys are just going too hard sometimes, or it's
They're
like
just trying to capture the moments. They're not
And it-
used to it. I think
yeah.
so. Like
Yeah.
when you're around it, then
And
it,
it's also like a lot, like a oversaturation almost of like content.
yeah,
So
It's
you
too
kind of
much.
want to have the best things and just see if everyone is doing this. You know what I'm saying? So everyone has phones. You can take pictures on your phones. You don't even need a camera. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just
Yeah.
all over the place. So it does kind of make sense that people would be a little bit thirsty.
Yeah, and that was a big event. So like generally it's nothing like that crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was gonna say. Like usually when it's like smaller, because when you're first starting out, for sure you're not doing these big events or whatever.
Right.
So like I used to do like small, like what's it called?
like album
Showcases. No, like
releases.
just showcases of like
yeah.
up and coming artists. None of the artists were really known.
Right.
And it was more just like my boy would hit me up because he was producing it and was like, yo, come through, take pictures. I was just starting out, so I did.
You know, it's
And-
so funny. Well, you just said that, and it feels like I've been to like these like smaller showcases, and there's like far less photographers shooting
That's where they
because
should be.
because that's where they kind of should be to start out. And I feel like I don't see what I used to see, where like me and you both, where you just do these smaller things to like get your feet wet, make sure I know what my flash does when it's dark. Like just like
Mhm.
you just random things like oh, I could do this setting to get
There's
this
no
shot.
pressure,
There's no
especially
pressure.
if you're not hired. Yeah, if
Right,
you're just
there's
there.
no pressure.
Yeah.
But I feel like I see far less of that happening lately.
Yeah, I just went to at SummerJam. I ran into someone from the showcases I'm thinking about at Webster Hall in the
Mhm. Oh,
downstairs studio room,
Studio.
and I saw the guy. He was I don't. Anyways,
Redacted.
he was there with a lot of big artists. But 10 years ago, he was in the same showcases, like I'm in music, this and
Mhm.
that. So like it's just to see that progress of himself. And we talked for a little and everything. It was like good to see you. We're still in the same industries,
Right.
killing it. So like it all starts to like, and that's how I got bigger jobs because I was at these smaller things. And as those people grow, they're gonna bring you along compared to like, oh, I made it. Let me get that person.
Right.
Let me hire Johnny. They can't afford Johnny yet,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, Danny's here. Let me get him. And I mean Johnny Nunez, by the way.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
I need to
I'm
call?
glad you said
But yeah.
that because I'm curious to know what was you guys' first like event photography job,
Well,
if you remember.
Well, yeah.
well,
I'm trying-
we
I'm
just
still
brought
trying
that
to-
up.
still
Mine I
trying to
talked about
remember
last
my
time, but that was just
exact
being
one.
right place, right time. The
Yeah.
doctor, that wasn't like me getting hired. It took a while to get hired because I wasn't really
Yeah.
looking at it for money. Like at that time it was still like a hobby and transitioning. So like, yeah, I got paid a few times from like the Dr. Dre or the Beats by Dre thing, but then after that, it was more for me just going to events and stuff. So like I said, I went to all these showcases
Trying
or
to
just
think.
random shit. So I can't tell you like the transition of where like, all right, I'm gonna become an event photographer and like
Yeah.
I'm getting these checks like consistently. Like it
I'm
it
trying
takes
to
a while.
think back to because my job at the time would send me on like missions basically
Yeah.
to shoot. I'm trying to think back to my actual first job, I guess, outside of that. And damn, I can't remember.
I'm
This
about
is
to pull up some
I have like
galleries. 'cause
I have like
it.
the worst memory of all time.
I have galleries, so I'm scrolling all the way back. Smug
Smart.
Mug. Smug Mug is
Smug
unlimited.
Mug,
It's
wow.
unlimited space for $60 a year.
Wow.
So I have stuff from 2013. So
Wow.
the first thing that shows up on here is a wedding. So,
You know what?
I
did-
remember this wedding because I don't do weddings, but she is like, oh,
I
you
did.
take great photos. Will you mind doing my wedding? I'm like, fuck it. Like it's a smaller wedding. There's
all
pressure of
photographers
weddings.
fall
Yeah,
into that.
yeah.
And then immediately after you do that first one, you just rather, oh, I love this and this is what I'm doing, or hell no, never again. And I
Mhm.
think,
I'm part of that ladder.
yeah, Yeah, I fell into that same thing where it was like, yo, just do it. Like, you great. I don't care.
Here's $500.
Yeah, and then here's 500. Like
Yeah.
at the time, it's like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Not knowing nothing that wedding photography is like a couple G's.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, I was the wedding videographer / photographer for someone, but I was the gift, right? Like someone's like,
Oh.
oh, I have a guy. Don't you worry about
Oh
it.
boy.
And then it was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
My good friend just texted me
Yeah.
right before we said, like, hey, someone asked me to do BTS video of a wedding. How much would you charge? I'm like, let me see expectations first.
Right,
Because
exactly.
is this a wedding video or really just like
Just
their girl
BTS.
getting makeup done? Because I'm not going to be in your ceremony recording all this and this and that. Because now we're talking wedding videos. You know, so there's
it's,
a
it's
different
a whole
thing.
nother
Yeah.
monster in itself. I think it's the preparation. It's
But I'm
the
looking right here, and
expectation
I
and
know
stuff
this
like
isn't like every event I did, but there's 2 weddings. One I know was just a friend, so I just brought my camera.
that. Mm.
And then Ra Ali's birthday dinner. Raleigh from like Love and Hip Hop,
Yeah.
and that's where I met Remy actually. So,
That's crazy.
but that's obviously not the first thing I did because that was a few years in. So that just shows my galleries are just not organized. Yeah.
I would have to go back in some hard drives to take a
So
look.
even if you guys don't remember the first gig, do you
Mhm.
guys remember your prepared level? Like, were you prepared for that first gig? Like,
For the
or like for an event?
You know what?
Like you were saying earlier, like you get to experiment with your flashes and this, that, and the
Yeah,
third.
like,
did you
previous
feel
to
like
that?
you were yeah.
I don't think you're ever really prepared. I mean, yeah, you are prepared, but like I know my first couple events, I was still like fidgeting around with like flash, like that speed light. I never mastered it.
yeah.
I still haven't mastered that speed light. So like, always fidgeting around with that, and like, but as long as you got some clean shots.
Yeah.
I was always like that guy, like, oh, as long as I got something, I can like try to salvage it later. But yeah, I think as you get into it, then you start getting a little bit better, and you can get like shots off easier, faster. And stuff
Yeah,
like
for me, it depends because, like we said, like I just went to a lot of events just cause. So, like by the time I like was getting hired, I felt comfortable, because I did so many different events and
Mhm.
stuff, and Sony had the best speed lights in the world
Yeah,
because
there's that too.
even the speed light now doesn't have what Sony had. But like if you go from like landscape to portrait mode, you can turn the flash too.
All right.
And when you don't do it, you get like different shadows. Like I be seeing pictures, like I took pictures last night, and I'm just like, the shadow I hate, and it's because I can't rotate the flash, so it just leaves like a bad shadow. But
Mm.
that was one thing that Sony had, and I'm like, I don't know if they have it on their new camera or new lens flashes. I need to see. But yeah, for me, I just did so many like random small events. I was like, by the time I'm getting money, because I'm not gonna take a job if I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm
Right,
not
that's
taking
true,
no
too.
money. At least that's how I was, especially first starting. So yeah.
I was, I mean, I was a little bit. Maybe I was the opposite because I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. This
Yeah.
sounds like a good check. Let me figure it out.
Mhm.
I was kind of always that guy, but like kind of just toss yourself into the deep end a little bit. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I got a question that someone just asked me recently. Like, is there any full time opportunities in event photography? And
Hmm.
then the other question was, how do I get gigs? So how
Yeah.
do you feel you get, like, even when is it just all word of mouth, like people just reaching out to you?
I think this is an overall question because I got this question the other day too. Maybe it was the same person. Do we know that
I
person?
don't think it's the same
Alright,
person.
But oh my god, I got a question. Well, somebody sent me like a bunch of questions in my DM, and he was like, "Yo, whenever you can, like, just I'm trying to start out, whatever." So one of his questions was, "How do you get gigs?" And I guess we can like make this an event photography thing, but I
Mhm.
think well, I guess there's several ways. I mean, first you gotta narrow down to what type of events you want to focus in
Mhm.
on, and then that'll kind of make things easier because then you can like focus in on one thing. So, say for instance, I want to do concerts or performances.
You're not gonna make a lot of money.
No, you're not.
I'll tell you that.
Not up front. But if that's something that's something you want to do, you want to get those iconic shots of all the stars on stage. Cool, but again, I think you should start small. Start at the showcases. Go to your local, whatever your music venue is, and just tap in with those people that's there.
Mm.
Just bring your camera to shit. Take photos. You know what you're allowed to do. Take photos, and then find out who's organizing whatever, and send them the photos. There's a lot of free shit up front. Am I right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, definitely a
amen to
lot.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I don't know because it's you got to find your niches definitely
Yeah,
right, and like
now it's
I would
crazy.
not do music. I would not go into the music world and all that because
Music is just
everyone wants that. But like I've been doing, like I like theater. They always got events. You know, just figuring out what niche and
like
like
the corporate.
get in that world. Yeah,
The best
corporate.
ones are the corporate, like holiday parties
Mm.
and corporate whatever corporate.
Yeah, y'all missed my last holiday party because it got redacted. But yeah,
but corporate parties, you know, I feel like all the glamorous stuff does not pay. So if you're gonna do red
because
carpet
everyone wants to shoot
premieres,
it.
everybody wants to shoot that. Everyone is shooting that.
That's more for clout, right? Like
It's more for
clout,
cloud.
get your name out there a little bit.
Yeah,
get
and
your
even
vibe,
then,
XYZ.
there's so many bodies around that it might be difficult to even get that clout, I guess, unless you, excuse me, just putting it up on, you know, Instagram or wherever, or just saying that, hey, I was doing this.
Yeah,
The glamorous stuff, very little money involved. But if you can get in with some PR agencies to like shoot their premieres or their openings of something less glamorous,
yeah.
those are where the checks are.
If this is your first time tuning in, backtrack to our episode 1 where we just talked about being outside.
Yeah.
That's all it really takes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how you make money. Just being outside, networking, quote unquote networking, but just meeting people.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to get jobs. That's the only way I feel we get jobs anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no yellow pages. There's no like, I don't know. LinkedIn, I guess. I need to actually redo my LinkedIn. I haven't even gone on there in years, but I do hear LinkedIn is a good source of getting gigs.
Yeah, it's
But-
another social media to me.
Yeah.
Sound like I'm terrible with all of them.
All of
I just posted. Oh yeah, check out my reels.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Danny's on Reels now. So
Hey, I
like,
can get paid off reels
yeah,
now,
and I'm
so I
gonna
think
try to do some
yeah.
Reels
So
too.
I would
I
like you guys
promise.
all just to give a like, comment, share a reel. You know. Oh man. I'm reading. We got a little notebook
I know,
here,
right? I'm like
so I'm
looking
like
over
looking
it.
at what we got. We're trying to be more advanced and stuff. So I'm trying to keep mental and physical prep. And this, I'm guessing, is like once you get a job, how do you get?
Well, how do you pick a gig?
Oh, I skipped
So
that
like,
one.
yeah, you skipped that
Yeah.
one. So
Well, now that now that we talked about the early start
Mhm.
of the careers in event photography, now that we're here, and especially you, Danny, way more seasoned in the event space.
Budget.
How do you go?
That's
pretty
really
much it.
that's the main
So-
part, but
uh,
because we do so many events, you don't have to finish your question. I think they all know.
artistic
Yeah.
integrity,
Well, no, there's that too.
there's that.
There's that too. Like depends what the event is,
Mhm.
what it's for. But the real thing is, you know, we're a business at the end of the day now. We're not just artists. So, you know, you gotta sometimes I gotta remember that. I was like, it's not just me. Like if I don't do jobs, I'm like, damn, I'm not gonna make money. You know, I gotta make money. So it's like sometimes I gotta sacrifice. And it's not like I'm doing anything. I'm not doing anything crazy that's like it's going against my morals. So it's
Right.
not about that. But it's more like if someone hits me up like, yo, I want to hire you. Actually, someone just reached out. It's like they want to do 9 to 6 Friday and Saturday. The budget's only $1,000. I'm like, that's a lot of hours
Mhm.
where I can make $1,000 in 3 hours or 2 hours.
Right.
You know, so it's like, yeah, it's $1,000, but now I got to move things around. I just lost my weekend,
Yeah,
and it's just a lot. And it's like
versus
one, I
money.
wasn't really available for that whole time. I told him like, but you know, those are things you have to take into consideration. So like, what's the budget? How many hours? What's the deliverables? Like those details. And then, and who's the people? Because if it's someone that's you know is gonna give you a headache, and like they say it's
true.
this, and then you get on set and it's a whole different thing, or wherever you're at, whatever event. Especially if it's video involved. If it's video, I need
That's
every
a whole
detail
nother-
written
yeah,
down
Yeah.
because you're not gonna tell me you want a 1 minute recap, and then next thing you know, I need a 5 minute video of this or that, plus social clips and this and that. So yeah, if it's just photos, it's a little easier to navigate because especially events. I'm not the type. I was having this talk with someone also. Sorry, I'm like going off
Nah,
crazy
that's
now.
good.
But someone was like, "Hey, like, do you give like a photo limit amount? Like, you say like
Right.
X amount for $50? I mean, 50 photos, whatever." I'm like, it's hard to just limit the amount of photos I'm gonna
Right.
take, especially it just depends on the event.
Also, I don't want to edit that because you're gonna take more than 50 photos, and now I gotta only
Oh yeah,
edit down
I
to
shoot
50.
way
Like,
too much.
no, absolutely not. I'll
Yeah.
just give you what I get. you know.
Yeah, there's events. If it's a big event, I don't really. I'll cull through and take out the bad photos, but I'm like, you getting all this. Like, I took
Exactly.
all these photos. You're getting all. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna. Some photographers are way different. They're like, I'm only gonna send them 100 pictures or X amount,
Yeah.
and I'm like, one, they're all just sitting on a hard drive, and then the way I shoot is like, I like to capture
I
a
call it
little
like
bit of everything. So it's like, yeah, it's whatever's on your shot list. But then if it's a good party or a good event, I'm gonna capture so many candids because that's the one thing I think my clients like. They're like, "Oh wow, you captured every moment." And the only way you do that is if you send them a lot of photos
right.
and just like everyone having fun or is like getting people out their comfort zone.
I never get why photographers like hoard photos. Like I always felt like I'm not gonna do anything with these photos. Like
Yeah.
they're for the
Yeah, if it's
client. Like,
unless it's a personal thing that I'm
eh,
working on,
yeah,
that's the
that's
only way.
different.
But if I'm
That's
getting,
different.
yeah, if you're getting
But
hired to shoot X
I don't
event,
care. I'm not gonna do anything with these
I
photos. They're
want you
gonna
to
sit
see
on
it
a
all.
hard drive. Might as well have them out there, and then they can post them around, and then you can get a gig.
But
You know?
you're not deleting like photos of like old gigs, right? Like even if you send it off, or do you delete?
Oh no! I don't delete anything. I have hard drives on top of hard drives,
Yeah, I've
which I
never.
also need to upload to the cloud, which I also need an intern to do. So yeah,
What cloud
because
are
it's
you?
like
What cloud are you doing? Because I need to know these things.
there's something called black
Okay.
Backblaze.
Yeah,
Backblaze.
I know
that
about
was
Backblaze.
Wait, they're not paying us. Redact it. Redact it.
Redact.
No, don't
Oh, maybe
redact.
they want to pay
don't,
me.
don't redact it because I would love a free account.
Right, me
Because I was actually they just IPO'd, so I was gonna actually invest in
Oh.
them. So because I was like I'm about to use a service and I might as well
Yeah.
invest in them as well. But
But
Backblaze is
I find
cool.
it kind of I'm afraid because it's just on a hard drive and like
who are you telling?
anything can happen on a hard drive.
I got
so I wanna,
terabytes of
Yeah.
footage,
Yeah, me too.
and it's hard to when you shoot so much. It's hard to afford to pay for multiple copies of hard drives. So
right.
I have one hard drive that crashed
Yeah,
my
me too.
second year in
Yep, me too. I lost-
2013, which is probably my biggest year
Ooh.
in terms of especially starting out with celebrities. Like I need to get that fixed somehow. Just haven't paid for it.
Yeah.
I'm just praying with as technology gets better, it'd be an easy fix.
Right.
Just really fixing. But I mean, like.
That's
Jay-Z,
also-
4040,
Mm.
all these other crazy moments. And I was like, this shit better work. Yeah.
And it was like kind of before
It's
I
going to be the
started
lost
putting things on,
tapes, the
like,
lost hard
Dropbox.
drive,
But okay, so how do I pick a gig? Same thing. More so budget, and for me, it's like the time it's gonna take, and everything you touched on, because it could also be who it is. Sometimes it's just a headache that I don't want, or maybe it's like, oh, Kanye's gonna be here, or something that I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll take this, just to get that photo in my repertoire or something. But I think, yeah, literally everything you just touched on
yeah.
is the same for me, and then even more so because I just don't like to do event photography for the most part. So if it's got to be something really compelling to like drag me
Yeah, he don't.
out the
Yeah, he
house.
doesn't do much. Like even
Yeah.
me, like it's like what's budget, what is the actual job that we're doing, and the timing. Because one, I gotta find a babysitter if I, things like that. So I'm like, I'm not as available. So it's got to be worth my time. And then after I pay the babysitter, I'm still making X amount. So it's just got to be a small. It's a small checklist, but it's like who it is, what it is, how much is it.
Right.
That's really it. And then, especially, everyone wants photos Well, I guess we could talk about this, like the deliverables or like how you work
Deliverables,
and
yeah,
things like that,
how everyone
because
wants their photo that night.
Yeah.
I have a terrible memory sometimes. I'm like, what the hell were we just talking
Oh,
about?
you, my memory's shot.
I was like, what was I about to say right before the break? But we got it.
But
I think
yeah,
it's like deliverables and a few like I guess hacks and
yeah.
things that's helped me either gain new clients really quick or just like made me separate myself,
Hmm.
especially even starting out. And the first one's really just thanks to technology and my camera. And that was, Sony when they first got mirrorless, they had like Wi-Fi, and then you just had the app. And this is before Canon and Nikon or every other brand had it. So when I'd be at these events, I'd snap whatever picture of whoever I'm taking, and eventually they want to see their photo, but
Right.
sometimes they get busy or whatever. I'll just tell them hold on. But while I'm telling them hold on or whatever, it's because I'm actually sending it to my phone, like the good photo, and then I show them on my phone.
Nice.
So then they're like, "Oh shit, how did you do that?" And then I just send it to them. So now I got their number and all that. And then obviously, if you could be able to get them the photo that quick, um, they want you to take every photo the rest of the night.
Right.
So that you got to be very selective of who you show that trick to,
Right. Right. Right.
because if
Because now
not, you're
that
gonna be sending photos to your phone all day, losing memory, blah blah blah. But that was like always a key thing that I would do. Um, so that was like a cheat code, I guess, to like get celebrities contacts or like
oh
just
yeah, yeah,
depending on who
PR.
the event person is. I'm like,
Right.
oh yeah, here's this photo real quick. Bam, post that, whatever. So even to this day, I still did it. Like last night, I had an event and or not even an event, a dinner, but the people are like, damn, how'd you get this photo so fast? This is why I'm me. This is why I'm here.
This is why I'm
Yeah,
me.
that's what I said.
I like that.
Yeah,
This is why I'm me.
That's why I get paid
but
big
then
bucks.
but then
Yeah.
also key is you got to make sure you're shooting properly, so you don't because you're
Right.
not gonna edit.
Because you can't edit.
Yeah, this is literally just shooting whatever's raw. Just send to my phone, airdrop or send it to them now. I don't really like airdrop though, especially if it's someone you don't know because you can't text them your at.
Right.
So then, but sometimes celebrities, obviously, they're like,
Don't want your number.
yeah, they're like
Don't want
airdrop,
you
and I'm
to
like,
enter.
here you go. Sometimes, but yeah, so it all depends.
Hmm.
But that's like a hack. But then what deliverables?
Yeah. I guess you shoot an event. Well, okay. You shoot an event. What are your normal deliverables to clients?
It definitely should be spoken ahead of time.
Right.
All that just so you know their expectation.
Right.
But a lot of people obviously want them like within 24 to 48 hours. I worked with Johnny Nunez, who works that post on Wire and Getty. So for him, he shoots an event, they need to be up instantly. So being around him, that's what always got in my mind. Is like, all right, then you don't go to sleep until like these photos are done,
Right.
and so I kind of go the same thing now. Is like I just need them by the next, like if it's something that ends like at midnight or something, or even if it's later, but that morning I wake up and just knock it out,
Right.
just get it out the way. Because if not, unless I have hella shit and it's not really needed, like at that time, but just quicker the better. They're gonna appreciate that for you, unless it's something that's like huge. Like obviously, I've done a few weddings and never getting
Oh
that,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
But like a night event, a small event, yeah. If it's that same night, if I get done early, you might get it that same evening just because I want to just knock it
Knock it
out.
out. Get out the way.
Yeah, so that's me, and I use like Pixie Set
Hmm.
because even though I have Smug Mug for like my gallery portfolio, which I need to update, but Pixie Set allows you like at least I'm sure there's other ones, but allows you to email capture.
Email
So
capture.
you want that. Even though I don't do newsletters or anything yet, but I have everyone's email that at least sees the photos, and that's also a good thing because sometimes some clients don't want those photos getting out, and they somehow do.
Right.
But if I got their email and how they signed up, at least I can see who went to the gallery. So I've had an instance with that with person we redacted in the past. That's why we redacted them. So yeah. And I was like, yo, these photos got out. I was like, well, I sent the link only to you.
Right. So who you
So
sent the link to?
yeah, and then these got out on some sites that they didn't want
Mm.
certain photos. I'm like,
Mm.
I
did
ain't
what I
do
did.
anything. I don't got time for all that. Yeah.
I think
So
those are some great pro tips
mhm.
for like pro tips for post production. But what do you guys do for preparation, like for an event, like the night before or whatever?
Charge your batteries.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Charge your batteries. Make sure you got your your memory cards. Make sure you got your regular batteries for your speed light. Well, my speed light takes regular batteries.
Yeah,
So like
they've upgraded now.
yeah,
Some of
yeah,
them, yeah, you
we
can
have
lithium
like
batteries
actual.
now.
But yeah, just charge up, charge up, and
It's
get
just,
ready.
it's just
Like I
a
mean, there's not
checklist for
much.
everything. Yeah,
There's not
checklist for
much.
any job.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same thing for anything.
Make sure you got your clothes right for depending on the event.
True.
That's
That's
one thing
actually
I
a good
go
one.
through even now. Is like,
That's a good
yo,
one.
because I want to be as casual as possible. But I'm like, wait, what kind of event is this? Where is this at?
Yeah.
Like even last night I was at Cipriani's and I was like, yo, can I get in there with jeans? And because usually it's like an upscale place, so just making sure you're like you go to an event, you can't be too underdressed.
Right.
Usually always wear black, which is
Makes it
easy for
easy.
people in New York. But you're just supposed to blend in and be like your staff at the end of the day. Some people try to get flashy and think they're like there for the party or
Yeah,
something. I'm
they're
like,
like the
which is
star.
fine. Don't get me wrong, but I think I don't know. You
I
gotta be
think
in work mode.
there's a balance that you have to have, especially at like certain events where it's like you are staff and you kind of have to remember that there'll be free alcohol flowing. Like so many times I've been in weird situations, like in the strip club doing shooting an
Oh, what kind
event,
of
like
events you doing?
like like something crazy, like these rappers be having all kinds of crazy things, and it's just like, oh, okay, but you gotta have to remember, like, oh yeah, I'm here for an actual job to do something.
I need to go
So,
to your events. Then those are the
but
ones you picking.
yeah, that's the ones I'm picking.
Damn.
We gotta pick and choose, man. Pick and
Yeah,
choose.
yeah. I don't.
That was a great point because my other question is, what is the work play ratio, if you have one, for these events?
I think my comfortability with whoever's running this event, because
Mm.
sometimes I know and I also know my limits, and I know how good I am, and like all of that. So like, I think if it's, and this is terrible, I shouldn't even be saying this, but I think if it's like a friend that I know, and it's like, oh, by the end of the night, I'm probably smashed, like done. But I'll still be able to get some shots off, like if necessary. But like, you try to get your things in early. That's like if it's a friend or if it's something like, and then a lot of times people sometimes are like, oh, you're good. Like after a certain time, they just be like, oh, you're good. Go enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still want to make sure you're not like sloppy and ODing, and like
Mhm.
now you don't have that job anymore because you
We're sloppy.
threw your camera at somebody. Like
what kind of drunk are you, Andrew?
yeah.
No,
Yeah, no, I'm
Nah,
just
yeah.
saying, not me, but I'm just saying, like, you want to make sure you know your limits still.
Not
But
yet.
because the networking part is a really important part of the whole thing, and especially if you have your camera that night and you were actually shooting, you can go around. If you're not working anymore, you can kind of still you can work the room now. So
Mhm.
like that's super important. So I think I mean that's still work, but like I guess it's kind of play.
Yeah.
Well, that's my. But then there's a total opposite sometimes where I'm like, I'm not doing anything here. I'm going to focus on the work, and then even if they tell me I'm good, I'm still gonna be like on, so I can like, yeah. I guess it's just kind of have to read the room.
How about you, Danny? What's your work play
It,
ratio like?
it's very similar. Like if it's someone I know, and I'll always like get my photos that first. I won't have drinks until towards the very end of the
Right.
night. And then when I was young, I was like, I need to catch up to everyone else. So I would be open bar. Let me this last 20 minutes. Like so. Yeah. So, but also I know I'm about to leave. So like
Right.
I'm like, all right, let me just get these while they're still free or whatever. And then if I'm going out, I go out or go home. But
Mhm.
I would always wait to the very end until you get that okay to like, be done. And that's just drinking involved. I just that's really it. Really,
Yeah,
just like you just got to know who you're around, how they're feeling about you being, because at the end of the day, they are paying you. So
they are.
and you're representing a brand, so you can't or your own brand. So yeah, you just can't be
Can't be
getting
too
too
sloppy.
sloppy.
Can't be
I've
can't be
had like
wilding out.
yeah, but I always wait till the end when I know I'm good, and then luckily drinks aren't hitting you instantly, so you can still take photos. And I always joke, I'm like, oh yeah, the picture's about to get better. And I always joke because like, even at the beginning, they're like, oh, can I see some photos? I hope they're good. I'm like, shit, I hope so too. That's like my
Yeah.
go-to. Like, we about to all find out if these photos are good,
Like, this is my
because
first time.
sometimes the settings be, your settings from another shoot or something at the very beginning, even though it's not that much different. But yeah, I always just joke with them, makes them more comfortable too. So yeah, it's got to be personable and yeah, have fun. Not out here smoking. I don't smoke
Yeah, I don't
in
smoke
front of
either,
clients.
so
Yeah, so yeah.
yeah, no
have
People are
smoking.
still weird about weed, even though it's legal and stuff. So especially at these corporate events,
Yeah.
So that's just the one thing.
Yeah, the corporate ones I try to I mean, we're also black. I don't
Yeah.
throw that out there. I don't want any
Wait, I'm black.
I don't want any like stigmas or anything. So like I just keep you keep the weight of the world on your in your mind just in case like hey, they hired this black kid to do this thing and like now I'm out here drinking and
True though, I am one
chatting
of
it
the.
up and like you kind of sometimes keep that in the back of your head too. So you're like you gotta read the room, man. Read the room.
And true, I am usually, if it's a big event, I'm usually one of the youngest photographers
That
or
too.
people there and of color.
Right.
So he does make a very good point.
Yeah.
We got to represent for all
We
of
gotta
us.
represent for across the board. Usually am the youngest if it's like a big like
And
corporate
I'm
thing.
not even that young.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're
But
old.
yeah, I'll be
We're in
looking
our
at them like,
30s.
yeah, I'm like, damn, how am I the one here? How'd I get here? So
Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
But on the other foot, though, because now this is more towards you, Andrew, because
Uh-huh.
you put together events.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So then that puts, the student then becomes the master, then, right? So
Right.
what do you look for when you're hiring, like, photographers for events? Do you hire photographers? That doesn't matter. When you're hiring photographers or
I
anyone
have,
for events, like,
He's
what do you
looking
look
for someone to capture his summer.
Yeah, actually my summer I need someone still to capture some stuff. But I think everything we just touched on, because I've done it, I'm probably the worst person to hire someone because now I have like these expectations of I would have did it like this or I would have like I'm probably the worst person to hire someone. But I think for me, I'm looking for the candidates just because of the type of events that I'm throwing. I'm looking for more of the I want those FOMO shots where it's like, oh my god, I wish I was there. That's just gonna only help me in what I'm like doing. So like that's what I'm looking for, and then also looking for that person that knows not to get smashed halfway through the night, like exactly what we just talked about. Like that person that's gonna continue to work and get the shots that we need. You can have your drink, you can chill, you can talk to the girls, but make sure you're around to get the shots. So that's like the main thing. And then of course deliverables. It's not super important that I have them the next day, so it's not like I need it the next day from personally, but obviously within a couple days I need my photos.
Within reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? I don't know.
No, I hire people, recommend people because I can't do everything.
Yeah.
Let us know. What do you look for?
Mine's not even, especially because I know so many photographers, and depending on who's reaching out to me, if I can't make it, I go personality first.
Hmm.
I don't even look at their photos or whatever. I'm like, who's gonna be like, who fits the room? Who
That's
can
true,
fit in
too.
that room?
That's a
Like,
great
who's not gonna, make me look bad because it's my name at the end of the day. So I gotta make sure that person's always on time. It's like little things about being professional. Like I said, all the etiquette. Like I know if I send them there, they're not gonna be late because I'm never late.
Right.
Then they're gonna, do the work. They're able to still talk and be comfortable around these people. I know I can trust them to send the photos by the deadline that they need. Those are things that has nothing to do with the quality of the photos.
Right.
If they're a photographer that's been doing it a while, I'm hoping that they're good. They know what they're doing in that sense. So I have like my go-to people that I always call on if I can't make something I want to make, and to throw them money first. Just like Andrew always hits me up because he knows he don't gotta worry
Right.
about his name and his recommendation. So it's like the same thing. I go for that first. So like
Man, that's such a big. This
Yeah.
is a big one right here. It's because
because we can all do events because we
Yeah.
do studio, we do this, we know our cameras, but not everyone can do theater photography, or not everyone can do a red carpet. Not everyone can do a behind the scenes of a shoot.
Not
We're
everyone
not
can.
looking for the same thing.
Yeah, or not
Yeah.
everyone can just talk to the PR person, follow the directions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not everyone has that person out because it gets tough sometimes where it's like, oh, do this, you know, like, and you just kind of have to, like, all right, bite the
Yeah.
bullet, like, kind of.
Yeah, we're
So,
own bosses until we're under the
yeah,
clock. You know,
yeah,
like yeah, yeah.
That's a fact.
And then now
yeah,
we're everyone's
right.
everyone's client, or we are we're employees. So yeah.
But yeah. So I think that does that
I think that captures it all.
captures it all.
Yeah. I mean, if
Um,
you guys have any advice that you would like to give younger photographers that are just starting out, as to how to, get their toes wet in this space.
I guess we kind of touched on it, you know, free stuff. You got to do a lot of free stuff at the beginning. I don't know any other way. I mean, I guess there is other ways you could just jump into actually getting paid, internships maybe or something with someone, but I think breaking into the niche that you want to be in, rather doing free stuff. Well, both of these are doing free stuff. Rather connecting with someone to do some free stuff, or connecting with a photographer that's already doing it and shadowing that person.
Yeah, it depends what your goal is. Like when I started photography, I wasn't looking to. It was just a hobby, so like I wasn't looking to make money from it. That shit just translated, and then here we are. So it just depends. Like if your goal is to turn your hobby or your craft into a business, yeah, you just got to make sure you're comfortable. And I say network at your level.
Hmm.
Like I said, go to the small showcases where it's new people. If you're trying to get into music, but whatever it is, find your scale and start there first,
Yeah,
because you
that's
can't have no experience, and then you get recommended for a big job, and now you're in over your head, and you fuck it up, and now you can't get any job with that client, and then they all know each other, so
right.
like they're gonna be
They're
like,
gonna be
oh
like,
yeah, I
oh,
worked with that person. He was terrible because he
right.
was in over his head, or she was in over her
Yeah,
head.
your reputation will
So
precede you, right?
yeah, that's the most important
That's
thing.
really
So
it.
like just start slow. Like I said, just do till you get comfortable, and then if you start getting checks, you get money. But you got to be able to operate in terms of outside of just photos. Like it's everything else,
Yeah,
really. Because
it's
yeah,
more than photo. I feel like the photos is almost the last
five
thing
percent, yeah, 5 to
at
ten
the end.
percent, yeah.
Yeah, at the end, because anyone can take a good photo now. The camera can take a good photo for you. You know, like it's everything else, and then that networking at your level, which is amazing. That's a ding ding
Yeah.
pro tip, like because people try to immediately shoot for the stars, which is great. You should be shooting for the stars in your head, but don't you gotta network at your level first and like kind of do it's a staircase, like like
Yeah.
I was joking, trying to find the escalator.
right.
Yeah, but
But come on.
that's
Or
the key
elevator.
thing.
It's not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
escalator.
yeah.
They're like, let me just hop to level 7 real quick. Like,
Yeah, but that's the one thing. Just stay. You just gotta realize that it's a marathon. I've been doing this now 10 years,
hmm
and I'm still like, even though I have those certain connections, but I'm like, these guys don't all know me.
right.
So it's like just figuring out how I can keep elevating slowly and slowly and slowly. So just taking those whatever necessary steps or trying to figure it out. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Well,
You
this.
can.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
You got it. I
No,
feel like I've talked way too much
Nah,
this
you
episode.
haven't. You
This
haven't
is
talked.
yeah.
So you can find us both at Studio 3KBK on Instagram currently
And TikTok.
and TikTok. We're on TikTok. You can find me on at Andrew Fennell on everything. And
Daniel Vasquez photos on
Um,
Instagram.
and I want you to like, subscribe, comment, do all the good things for us. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you want a thumbs down. Whatever. Did they have thumbs down? I think they got rid of it, right?
They just can't show it.
Okay, so we'll see your thumbs down. That's cool. But yeah, no, seriously, all the comments are really great, so we can keep like giving you guys what you guys want. And yeah.
Be on the lookout for my next reel.
and we'll have a new episode shortly. We
Yes.
promise.
Yes.
No big gaps anymore.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it happen. All right.
Peace.